The Lausanne Gambit, Senegal, CAS, and the fight for AFCON integrity. In the world of African football, the final whistle doesn't always blow on the pitch. Sometimes it's blown in a courtroom far off in Switzerland. Welcome to BallAfrica. I am Elise. Today, we are stepping into a high-stakes moment for African football, one that has moved beyond the stadiums and into a legal arena. Yes, you all heard Senegal has taken its appeal to the Court of Arbitration of Sports. Oh well, this is breaking news indeed. You all heard this. Senegal national football team has officially taken the case and it's placed it on the Court of Arbitration of Sports in Lausanne. This court is based out of Switzerland, and they are challenging decisions that were made under the authority of the Confederation of African Football, CAF. Well, remember CAF's decision? Well, Senegal has taken this up with the higher court. This is not just about a trophy anymore, right? This is about governance, precedence, and the future of African football, indeed. Everything is at stake. Everything is on the plate right now. It can go either way. What's the catalyst? At the heart of this situation is Senegal's claim of procedural irregularities and inequitable treatment during the AFCON cycle. Claiming inequitable treatment and irregularities. After initially seeking resolutions through CAF's internal structures, the Senegalese Football Federation, led by its president, Augustin Senghor, made a decisive move. We all heard, they spoke with the president of the country, the president of the federation, everybody. They escalated the matter beyond the continent to CAS. In doing so, Senegal has effectively stepped outside of the traditional hierarchy of African football governance, seeking an independent review of decisions that, in their view, lack integrity. So more has to be said. Now, there is a legal position. What is the legal position? The message from Senegal's camp has been very consistent. This is not about disruption. It's about fairness. Their legal representatives have emphasized the need for what they describe as a jurisprudence of fairness, where rules are applied equally, regardless of influence or status. As Senghor puts this very plain and clear, I quote, we owe it to our players and our supporters to ensure that every result is earned on a level playing field. Every result is earned on the field. End quote. This framing is important. Why? Because it shifts the conversation from emotion to the principle. Senegal has assembled a heavyweight legal team, which I'll tell you in a little bit, combining top domestic lawyers, international arbitration experts, and even some CAS specialists, CAS, Court of Arbitration of Sports. This isn't just a protest anymore. It's a calculated legal strategy aimed at overturning one of the most controversial decisions in the history of African football. Senegal's legal dream team is led by a central figure in Senegalese law, supported by world-renowned specialists in sports litigations. Maître Seydou Diagne. He's the lead counsel, a central figure in the Senegalese Federation's legal strategy. He has been the most vocal representative for the team, recently describing the situation in Pérez as a betrayal and administrative robbery. Diagne is the architect of the argument that CAF has violated the fundamental laws of the game, specifically laws 5 and 6. Another prominent member, Juan de Dios Crespo Pérez, of Spanish origin, one of the most famous sports lawyers in the world. He's based in Spain, a veteran. He is also a veteran of CAS cases. He's handled lots of them before. He has previously represented icons like Lionel Messi and Neymar of Brazil. He is known for winning unwinnable cases against major governing bodies. Another important key personality in this team is Maître Pierre-Olivier Sue, of French origin from France, a former president of the Paris Bar, which is the Bâtonnier de Paris. His role repeatedly involves investigating the potential corruption angles and handling the border criminal complaints associated with cases. Maître Seydou Diagne, of Swiss origin. He's a Lausanne-based specialist, and having a Swiss lawyer is a very strategic necessity for CAS cases, as they are experts in the local procedural law that govern the tribunal. So, it's not just a game anymore. It's a precedent, and Senegal's bringing about fair play. So, what happens at the Court of Arbitration of Sports? What happens now that this has been filed? What's the procedure? For many fans, the Court of Arbitration for Sports can feel very distant. We don't hear about it often, we don't know about it, but its role is very critical in sports. It doesn't matter what sports, it's not just the sports of football or soccer. It is, in many ways, the Supreme Court of global sports. Here's how this would unfold. Both Senegal and CAF, because they're contesting CAF, not Morocco, will submit detailed legal arguments. Then a panel of arbitrators will be appointed. A private hearing will take place in Lausanne, private. And eventually a final binding decision would be issued. The decision could uphold CAF's ruling. It could modify it, or it could overturn it and keep the trophy with Senegal. On the other side of things, from the perspective of the Moroccan national football team and its federation, its responses has been very measured. There has been no escalation, no public confrontation, no unnecessary argument, just a quiet sense of confidence in the process, the rule of law. Figures like Wali Ragregi, former Moroccan coach, have remained focused on football. Did not get into the argument, while broadcast sentiment within Moroccan Football Federation circles emphasizes stability within the structures of CAF. At the same time, voices across the continent are weighing in on this particular incident. Former players and current administrators, including Samuel Eto'o, president of the Cameroon Football Federation, have long called for a greater transparency in African football governance. And legends like Lucas Radebe of South Africa have pointed out that moments like this force the system to reflect deeply. So the bigger question, what are we really looking for? Is this a necessity? Is this a necessary stand for fairness and accountability? Or a challenge that risks undermining continental authority? The truth likely sits somewhere in between these two statements, because while rules must be respected, trust in how those rules are applied is just as important. We have to trust the application of the rules. This is key. This is more than a legal case. It is a defining moment. One nation is going to rise and celebrate a moment. One nation is not going to rise and celebrate a moment. A moment that could reshape how disputes are handled in African football. A moment that can test the balance between governance and the game itself. From the pitches of Dakar, Rabat, Conakry, to the courtrooms in Lausanne, Switzerland, the outcome of this case will echo far beyond one tournament. The sounds will go beyond boundaries, beyond borders, beyond territories, across the globe. This has been a special episode of BallAfrica. I am Easy Lise. No noise, no bias, just the game. If you value the conversations that go beyond the pitch, make sure you subscribe, share, and stay connected. because African football is evolving, and moments like this are shaping its future. We will continue to provide updates on our channels about these current situations and as the procedure unfolds. Again, we are on Twitter, we are on Instagram, we are on TikTok, we are on YouTube, and we are on Spotify. Subscribe to the channel. In the meantime, keep your eyes on the ball and your hearts in the courtroom in Lausanne as we await the final verdict of Morocco versus Senegal AFCON finals. Ciao, ciao.